today I'm going to be talking about the biggest fall 2013 anime, and this thing is something that you should have heard of. If you didn't hear of it yet, then I recommend it to just about anyone. If you're into anime, and maybe if you're not into anime, I would still recommend this to so many people because of what kind of anime it is. Kill la Kill. Let me start off with the plot by saying that it is sort of a traditional story in the beginning. A young girl is trying to avenge her father's death. And there's not a lot more I can go into with that because, I don't know, this whole review as a whole is going to seem a little bit limited because there's a lot that happens in the anime, and a lot of it has to do with plot twists and could be spoilers, and I don't want to spoil the anime for you because I think that it's a really good anime and I really would recommend that you watch it. If you haven't watched it already, then I wouldn't want to spoil anything for you. Like, seriously, a lot does happen. So like I said before, we start off with a girl named Ryuko Matoi. She is a young girl who had just went through the experience of having her father get impaled by a scissor blade, and after finding her father there with a scissor blade impaled into him, and yes, when I say scissor blade, I mean legitimately like a pair of scissors, except, you know, it's only one of the pair of scissors. And then, as soon as she finds her father being stabbed, she also sees this mysterious person basically running away, and she's off with the scissor blade in hand to go and kill the person and avenge her father's death. It, like I said, traditional kind of story. Avenge my father and I will avenge my family and I will have riches, and it's not about that, but still. So the first episode, you find her coming to this school called Honnouji Academy. Basically, it's a school where everyone that is in the top 3 tiers of the school has these special uniforms, and this is the part where clothing actually becomes like a part of the story, and this is where you start to understand that clothes are a huge part of the story, which they really are. And the whole school is run by this one person, Satsuki Kiryuin, who just so happens to be the person that Ryuko believes killed her father. There's a battle that ensues, and of course, you know, the main character isn't going to win in the very first fight. Sometimes they will, but most times they won't if they're just basic bitches. And at this point in time, Ryuko, I'm sorry, but you are a basic bitch. So she goes back to her father's house, finds herself in her father's laboratory, finds a piece of clothing, a sailor uniform, that actually has a name, and yes, it is actually a character. But don't get that wrong by any means. This character is actually one that I would say is one of my favorite characters of the whole anime. This piece of clothing is called Senketsu, and it has powers, which you'll see later on within the first episode. A lot of the stuff just happens in the first episode. I'm not trying to go past any point in time, like especially past like the 7th, maybe 8th episode. So all that happens. She finds Senketsu, puts him on, goes back to fight Satsuki. She finds out that she's a lot stronger. She's no longer a basic bitch. And I'm not going to go into depth about that fight because I don't think I should do that sort of thing. Watch the first episode if you want to hear more about that. And I cannot forget one of my favorite characters, one of the people that Ryuko meets when she first comes to the academy, and it has a great friendship with throughout the entire anime, Mako Mankanshoku. I think that's how you... It's a really long last name, Mankanshoku. I think that's how you say it. There are also other characters you meet along the way, and I don't want to go too deep into those because it does become a really long review when I go deep into all of those characters, but I can still talk about a lot of other things. So as much as I would not like to say this, it is still a truth. This anime is about girls, clothing, and overall just fashion and mayhem, chaos, destruction, and skimpy outfits basically. But most of the anime does focus on this idea of clothing, which at first made me kind of think, like, I mean, when you start off with the anime, you don't think about that as a main thing, because when it starts off, it never really occurs to you that, like, clothing is a huge part of the anime. I mean, like I said, people within Honnouji Academy have these Goku uniforms, and they have stars on them. They basically are allowed to transform in a way. They're allowed to upgrade themselves and have, like, different upgraded abilities and powers based off of which kind of Goku uniform they have. And there are a lot of battles that happen with people who, well, I think in the first episode, Ryuko fights against a boxer who, you know, he has a Goku uniform. He uses it. I think it's a 2-star Goku uniform, which in the beginning of the anime is, like, really, like, powerful compared to the 1-star, which I don't think she really fights against many 1-star Goku uniforms. But the point is, so she basically fights against all these people that get their powers from clothing. And the same rate, Ryuko gets her power from Senketsu, which is also a piece of clothing. Now, early on, you don't think this idea of clothing is really going to go very far through the anime. It isn't going to be this major idea through the anime, but yes, through the anime, keep this in mind and focus on a lot of things that have to do with clothing. You'll start to see more and more and more and more happen regarding clothing, and it's really going to open up your eyes, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is kind of weird. And a way, the theme of the anime, in my opinion, is that the clothes don't make the man makes the clothes. And trust me, if you get further in the anime, you definitely understand what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into that. What I will say, however, is that, like I talked about in my last video about Kill la Kill, there was this whole idea of Ryuko having to accept Senketsu and accept the fact that she's basically half naked in order to use Senketsu's full power, which was something that does progress over the course of the story. Like I said, there's a lot of things going on in the story. There's a lot of plot twists, a lot of things that happen, and there's hardly anything I can really go too deep into without spoiling a whole lot for you guys. Something interesting about this is that the anime was actually made by, I believe, the same studio that worked on both Gurren Lagann and Summer Wars, and a lot of people, when they first saw this anime, completely compared it to Gurren Lagann in terms of its style and how colorful and bright and just beautiful it looks, and also with the action that takes place. There's a lot of action that takes place, and I would say that there's a lot that has to deal with the whole idea of Gurren Lagann, and you know, there's a good connection between the two of them. If you really like Gurren Lagann, which is like a really legendary anime, it's a really good classic anime. If you like that, you should also like Kill la Kill in a sense, because in the same way where you have Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann, like, you can connect the style and the colors and the animation, and you can say that they're both really good. But another thing I thought about was how they both use something very simple and they take it to a whole new level of crazy, awesome excitingness, and I would never have thought about it on that level. For example, in Gurren Lagann, you have Simon using his drill. And that's basically the first thing that you see within the anime. You know, he's just using his drill and he's drilling. And then you see along that anime, it just becomes something way bigger. It becomes a huge concept, and, you know, using spiral power, and, you know, they're gonna pierce the heavens with their drill, and that's basically, I don't know, people say it has a lot to do with a penis, you know, pierce the heavens with my drill. So in a way where you use this simple idea, this simple everyday item like a drill, Kill la Kill uses scissors, uses clothing, uses like needles, just basic fashion shit. Another thing about it, this is actually funny, with Gurren Lagann and its whole drill concept, if it actually does mean something about a penis, it is masculine, and in the same right, Kill la Kill can mean something feminine with its whole fashion concept, and saying that you should embrace the fashion that you wear. You shouldn't be afraid to wear whatever you want, and you should be okay with the clothes that you want to wear, and a lot of things like that. So in a way, I would say that one of them is masculine and one of them's feminine, and I would say both of them are equally awesome. But going back to Kill la Kill, the anime is simply fantastic. It looks beautiful, it sounds beautiful, a lot of music used within the anime is just amazing. I love it. I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of variety within the music, but then again, that's not really a bad thing. Maybe there's like 20 tracks throughout the entire series. I'm not complaining about that whatsoever, because they are all amazing tracks, and I think that they sound just perfect. I really do love the animation. The plot was simply amazing all the way through. Somewhere along the line, the plot twists sort of make you think like, what the fuck? Why did this happen? But at the same time, I would say that it was still interesting, and it does take a bit of a cliche turn at some point where something gets revealed. It's really, really kind of cliche, but hey, it was pretty cool when, you know, you got down to the ending of it, so it was really interesting. I mean, really, honestly, for real, when I watched the last episode of this anime, something happens in it, and I'm not even gonna lie for a second, it kind of made me cry a little bit. Just a little bit, yeah. It was really that, like, deep. It was really that fucking deep, where it got down to that point. Like, you feel the feels. You really do feel the feels. This anime is extremely hype, and when you feel the feels, you feel them feels hard. Like, them feels just hurt, like, deep. It's like piercing you. If you're into a lot of drama, a lot of action, even ecchi, because I didn't even go into that part yet, but still, there's nothing to really go into there. I mean, there's ecchi in like every episode, you know, basically girls half naked, you know, have a great time with that, totally. The only thing that the anime doesn't really have a lot of is romance, and it has a little bit, just a little bit, a hint of it. You know, it has some shipping going on in there. But I would say in terms of everything else, it really does cover a lot of what people will be looking for in an anime. That's why I say if you really are into anime and you haven't really given this anime a thought just yet, then go ahead, guys. Like, seriously, it is a really, really interesting anime. One that I'll recommend to just about anyone. Even if somebody is trying to get into anime, maybe this wouldn't be my first option for them, but it would be one of the first, totally. Especially if you love Gurren Lagann, guys. Just watch this. It is really, really good. I'm actually very certain that this anime is going to get picked up by maybe Funimation, maybe get licensed sometime, even this summer, if it hasn't been licensed already. I actually haven't checked that just yet. So it might be licensed as of now, might not be, but it really is one of those anime that it's going to get licensed pretty soon, and when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, I'm totally going to get the Blu-ray of that. I'm totally getting that, because this anime really was that great, really was that hype, and I would say it is now one of my favorite anime. Simply, I mean, it's a really good anime, seriously. If I have to give this anime a rating, I would give it a 9 out of 10. The 9 basically is 1 off from 10 because there are a few plot points that kinda don't meld together properly, and it's kind of confusing, but still, it's a really, really good anime. I recommend it to almost anyone. Guys, go ahead and watch it if you haven't done so already. If you have watched it, good for you, because you know this was pretty good. If you didn't like it, I don't know why you wouldn't like it. I mean, I wouldn't be against you if you don't like it. I mean, maybe it's just not your thing, but still, I think it was really fucking good. So I'm gonna put a link down below for you guys to watch it on Crunchyroll if you want to watch it anywhere else. I mean, you can watch it on Crunchyroll for free, but the last episode is gonna be coming out the week after I make this video, so won't be able to watch the last episode. You can watch it wherever, actually. I don't even care if you watch it on Crunchyroll or wherever you guys want, but, you know, I'm just going to support them and say that, you know, legal anime, it's kind of legal, and it's really, really good quality. Crunchyroll is good quality. That's all I'm going to say. So totally check that link out down below. So don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe for more videos just like this one. This is me, NextLevelOtaku, saying stay gold, and I'll see you guys later.